Mega Man X5. There comes a point in every long series history at which it becomes shit. Development teams change, the times change, maybe technology changes. In this case, I think it was a bit of the first two. Mega Man X5 released 4 years after the last Mega Man X game, which is 3 more years than it usually took for them to make another one. In the meantime, there have been the Mega Man Legends series, some ports, whatever. But the only mainline Mega Man platformer in that time frame was Mega Man and Bass. 2D platformers were just kinda going out of style. But here we are, Mega Man X is back, and it looks a lot like Mega Man X4 at first glance. It seems to use a lot of the same technology at least. You even start with the armor from Mega Man X4 when you start with X, which is strange. It basically functions as an entirely different character to normal X and Zero, which you can now choose from between missions. There's also ducking, something I have never wanted to do before, but sure I guess. One of the first major complaints I have about this game immediately becomes apparent at the start. There's a time limit. Not a real time limit, but you basically have 16 level starts to get all of the things you want before something happens. To me, this kinda goes against the entire concept of Mega Man X. You know, exploration, revisiting levels, experimenting with your abilities to get items and whatever is all part of Mega Man X for me. And with basically just 2 attempts per level, this for one just invites safe scumming, which pretty much invalidates the entire reason this system exists in the first place, to build some tension. But everything else in the game also really doesn't seem to like giving you tension. You know, Mega Man X4 introduced continue points at the halfway marks of levels. This may have contributed to the game's overall lack of difficulty, but in the end I don't think it was much of an issue because the game around it was really good. In this game they decided to double down on that. Every checkpoint which you would respawn at on life loss is now also a continue point. You basically never lose any progress at all, which is honestly kinda useful because this game's levels aren't made very well. Dumb platforming sections, enemy spam, and a general lack of care on anything mean lots of cheap deaths with no consequences, so you just kinda forget about them. Just in general, this game seems to want to be Mega Man X4 so bad, but it feels like the developers really don't know how to do that. Elements from that game also appear in this one, but none of the context that made those elements work is here to accompany them. My go-to example for this is the stair room. You know, the spiral stairs from Mega Man X4 were kind of a cool set piece. Let's do them again. But worse. The perspective is all off. It doesn't look like you're walking on the stairs at all. It is just the same technology applied to something that doesn't work as well. The speedboat section in this game is also much more annoying than in Mega Man X4. And there's even a fun little Quickman section for those who wanted to know if wall sliding makes those unplayable. Yes, it does. I also just feel like this game was made for Zero in general. I mean, X can collect his armor parts like usual, but he can only put them on as a set, so A lot of the level gimmicks just don't seem to be made for X. Zero's ability to mash the enemy spam away is really the only thing that makes some of these sections playable. Some levels feature sections that would need X to take damage or have some sort of Maverick weapon to deal with them, while Zero can just kinda slash. And they didn't even really expand on how Zero worked in X4. More of his abilities are now active again and oh come on, Alia, please! I really hate how Alia just interrupts the gameplay at random points. It's just really the final nail in the coffin of this game. The base is still good. The level design might be slightly ass, but the gameplay is still good. The music is still good, even if some of the tracks are remixed for some reason and not originals. It looks nice, the story is ass as always. It's just a really forgettable game. And that's honestly not something I can say for most of the Mega Man games up to this point. Even the bad ones have had something to set them apart. Contrary to popular belief, Mega Man is not the same thing every time. Most of the games have their own unique identity. This game's identity is that it's Mega Man X4, but worse. So, yeah. It is with a heavy heart that I say Mega Man X5 gets a 5 out of 10.